Yo, Scotty V here. Just doing some ISO tests on the Canon C400. I wanted to get the false color to give me a certain look. I always like a little bit on the hottest spots to have a little pink, the hottest spots. And to me, that's, like fairly consistent, good lighting without a mood, not trying to set a tone or a mood or anything like that, but just standard, decent lighting, not too bright, not too blown out. So that's the way I've got it set up right now. I'm shooting wide DR, 2 stops of ND. I'm shooting base ISO 400 over 400. Kelvin's 5130. I've got my key light at 40%, and I've got this little kicker light at 10%. Real small little light, just it's more to light this up. But anyways, this is going to be the standard. So now I'm going to play with the second base ISO at 3200. And I'm going to do what I have to do to get the same look at 3200, and I'll write down whatever I came up with, and then I'll move on to 12,800 and play with the ISOs. All right, ISO number 2 coming up. All right, it's not exactly 3200 and 12,800 because I forgot I'm shooting in wide DR. So it's 1600 over 1600, lighting all the same, and now it's 4 stops. And I want to see if there's a difference in the noise. But basically I got my little hotspot right here, a little bit of pink, and that's how I expose most of the time. Like I said, not going for a mood or anything like that, but so I'll be able to compare first shot to this shot at 1600, and then now we're going to move up to 6400 and play with the settings there. All right. All right. Right now I'm at 6400 with 6 stops of ND. And nothing else changed. Should be the same exact shot or very similar. Very similar exposure, the same hotspot. So we'll go from there. But I also I'm going to blow into, pull up the percentage like 400%, and we're going to check out the noise, see if there's any difference. See if there's any advantage at shooting at a higher ISO and more ND, and see if that's going to affect the shot in a positive or negative way. But we'll check it out. All right, just a basic setup here. I put some figurines out. No, I wasn't in the military, but my brother was ex-Green Beret, Special Forces. So I just thought these figures were cool, something to shoot. This is base ISO 400, f-stop 8.4. And it's at 2000 with the lighting I have set up. I could play with the lights and make them brighter, but I just want there to be a standard. So this being the standard at base ISO to make this work. Now I'll move on to the next shot. All right, this shot, same everything, didn't change the lighting. It's base 1600 over 1600, and it got a little darker. It's 1 stop under. Now I'm going to switch it to the third ISO. So this is ISO 6400, same lighting, same everything. But I'm just going to obviously bring down the second ISO. Now it's 6400 over 2000. Same light, so it's only 30% light. This is the next look. So I think that works. And this, from the lighting provided, didn't change anything. This is auto ISO, the 4th option. And it's reading a little bit underexposed, but this is what it's calling for, and it's the same thing, 8.4 on the f-stop, and it's 1250 ISO on the auto. And this is what it's calling for with auto. which looks pretty good on the screen. So I'll check this all out when I get on the computer. Conclusion. I know first thoughts, a lot of people are going to be like, or some will say, why didn't you go to a high dynamic range, like put yourself up against a window with, bright lights from outside, the inside lighting, and then, overexposed by 4 or 5, and then underexposed by 4 or 5. I've seen those tests, and they don't do anything for me, because I would never go in a scenario where, I understand why it's done for dynamic range, but I would never go in a scenario and try to break this shot. I would never. So the reason I did it the way I did it was, say if you're stuck in a situation where the lighting is the lighting, you don't have extra lights, or you maxed out on lights, or you can't bring them into a venue. So the way I did it was I just have a set light, and it was what it was, and then I try to play with the ISOs and get the shot. And I wasn't trying to expose, like when I was doing the figurines, I wasn't trying to expose perfectly like I would on screen. I was exposing to the dead center, and then I could play with it up and down with, in post. So that's kind of what I was shooting for when I was going through the ISOs. And in my opinion, the auto ISO did the best job, just if that's what I was doing. And that had 1 stop under. So note to self, like a 1 stop over, if I'm shooting YDR, will probably look the best. If I don't have anything to do, if I can't fix the lighting. So that was that. The other thing I'm thinking is, YDR is just a really underrated codec. It's just, the colors are great. You white balance your shot correctly, try to get the best lighting you can, and YDR is going to do a really good job. Very low noise. I was going to do this test in 6K RAW, but my computer was, every time I play with RAW, and I got a decent studio, Mac Studio, and even so, it's like, stop that shit. So anyways, hope you get something out of it. I did. Just, it's just 3, well, if you include auto, 4 options of ISO on the C400 is just a badass camera. You're really going to have a hard time getting stuck where you can't figure something out and, get the shot you want, or at least really close. So, that was that. That's why I did it. And anyways, I hope you got something out of it. All right, take care. God bless. Peace. Wait. Hang on. One more thing. The app. I have it on my phone. I have it on my iPad. And I got them both to hook up the first time seamlessly. It's so smooth. Couldn't have been any easier. And it's fantastic. Turn the computer off, or my phone or whatever, turn the camera off. Next time I go to use it, I have to go through the rigmarole, try to get it set again, go through the whole thing of hooking up my internet to it and the Bluetooth and what connection, and if I'm doing it in a different place. It's such an awesome app if it's an easy hookup. It's not. It ain't. So, man, or I got to figure out how to just make sure it finds the camera, or if it's a little clunky. And then the password, there's times where I punch in that password like 5 times and I'm ready to smash the iPad. So I'm probably doing something wrong, but I'm following every step of the way on multiple YouTube tutorials on how to hook up different people, and nope. I wish it worked. It'd be nice to just boom, boom, boom from here, but I got to get up. So anyways, now it's peace out. All right.